Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Conversation. On this episode, we're going to talk Mr. Wrestling 2, and with us on this program is going to be Jack Lord, Rodney West, Wrestling 2's son, Robert Walker. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Before we get started, though, Freddie Rooper, that is his name, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah, I believe so.
I said I was going to start.
He's the rooster, isn't he?
He is the rooster. I'm going to share some paintings of his, and they're spectacular. I said I would do this. So I want to do this at the beginning of the show. These are tremendous. Have you seen them, Jack?
I've seen everything that he posts. I've seen
beautiful stuff. But here's some of them that he has done.
Oh my goodness!
And I wanted to share these tonight. I mean, look at these.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that.
Tremendous paintings by one of our insiders, and another beautiful one right there. And I guess this is his workspace, where he does the paintings. Here's another one right here that he does, and this is just a few of them. Just a few of the paintings that he does, but I told him we would share those, and I wanted to share them at the beginning of the show, so that way we don't run out of time. But tremendous paintings by him.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, are we ready to talk Wrestling 2?
Let's do it.
Ready.
Robert, you have anything you want to say before we start talking a little bit about some of his matches?
Well, last time we did this, and it was just after my dad's passing, and I was a little more emotional. We just kind of had a little things I'd gathered quickly. This time I've had time to gather a few more things, and a little less emotional, but it's still tough to go through some of this stuff without thinking back to the times we're traveling and doing those things. But yeah, no, I just continue to say thanks to all the fans that continue hitting up his Facebook page and supporting his legacy and so forth. So yeah.
Well, folks, you need to stay tuned. Tell your friends, tell everybody. We've got some video, Mr. Wrestling 2 in action, and you want to see that. So tell all your friends and everything. You've got to see this. Never seen before. Right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. So make sure you tell everybody about it. All right, Jack, you got the. I did have everything up, but I turned it off. But do you have the Wrestling 2 beginnings up?
Yeah, I'll read off the first 2 pages. There's 3.5 pages, so I'll get the first 2. All right, June the 1st, 1974, Sports Palace, Griffith, Georgia. Bob Sweetan defeated Mr. Wrestling number 2. Then on the 5th at the Municipal Auditorium in Columbus, Georgia, Mr. Wrestling number 2 versus Terrence Garvin, winner unknown. Then on the 7th, Atlanta City Auditorium, Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Wrestling number 2, the champion, defeated Big Bad John. That was for the for the NWA Georgia Heavyweight title. And then on June the 10th, Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia, the Great Malenko versus Mr. Wrestling number 2, winner unknown. And then on the 12th, Municipal Auditorium again in Columbus, Georgia, Mr. Wrestling number 2, and Louis Thesz versus Ronnie Garvin and Terrence Garvin, winner unknown. And then on the 14th, Atlanta City Auditorium, Atlanta, Georgia, return match, Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Big Bad John in a Texas death match. And then on the 21st, the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Buddy Colt in a lights-out match with special referee Louis Thesz. And then on June the 28th, Atlanta City Auditorium, Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated the Great Mephisto. And then July the 1st, Bell Auditorium, Augusta, Georgia, Ole Anderson and Gene Anderson, the champions, versus Mr. Wrestling's 1 and 2 for the NWA Georgia Tag Team titles. We don't have results for that either. July the 4th, 1974, Southern Technical Institute Gym in Marietta, Georgia, Great Mephisto versus Mr. Wrestling number 2, winner unknown. And then on the 5th, Atlanta City Auditorium in Atlanta, Georgia, Buddy Colt defeated Mr. Wrestling number 2 for the Georgia heavyweight title in a 2 out of 3 falls match. July the 7th.
I bet he cheated. I bet he cheated.
Oh, he had to cheat. I know, buddy. We need to get him on the show sometime so he can tell us he cheated. Anyway, on the 7th, Civic Center in Savannah, Georgia, Mr. Wrestling's 1 and 2, and the professional defeated Gene Anderson, Ole Anderson, and whoever their partner was.
A mystery partner. It was a mystery partner.
It's That's a mystery to us. July the 12th, Atlanta City Auditorium, Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Killer Tim Brooks. The 16th, Macon Coliseum in Macon, Georgia. Roberto Soto and Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Ronnie and Terry Garvin. And then on the 26th, Atlanta City Auditorium in Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Roger Kirby. Nature Boy, Roger Kirby. Then on the 29th, Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee, Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Jerry Lawler by disqualification.
By the way, that match is on YouTube.
I have it.
You have that match. Great match, by the way. And if you've not seen it, make sure you go look that up. I think you put Jerry Lawler against Mr. Wrestling 2, and I believe that how it comes up. So,
is that the one with Sam Bass in it too?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Good match.
All right. July the 7th. I'm sorry. July the 30th, 1974. Fort Homer Hesterly Armory in Tampa, Florida. Try to say that fast. Bill Watts, the champion, defeated Johnny Walker for the Florida heavyweight title.
Robert, that was what I was telling you the other night. He goes back and goes and works in Florida as Johnny Walker.
So I saw that there's a video online. I think I have the video actually too. So I don't know. I was thinking about this, and I'm not sure if just the date that's on that video may be right or wrong. I'm not sure. I've asked a couple of people about him going back and forth, and they don't really recall that. So it's possible that the video date just may be wrong because 73 had a lot of him and Bill Watts in Florida as Johnny Rubberman, where in 74, not so much. But I'm not saying it's wrong by any means. I could be. I just don't know.
Yeah, this doesn't seem possible that he did that. But
yeah, he by the time 1974 was rolling around, he was really well into the character of wrestling too. It wasn't. It had been at least a year or more from Johnny Rubberman. So
yeah, so it's hard for me to believe too. So if anybody knows for sure, these are took from actual newspaper ads, but they could have the dates wrong on them. So that's the thing. It could have been before then, because I think Bill Watts, he did go though from I think during this point in time, I think Jerry Jarrett might have been booking Georgia, and I know that Bill Watts left Georgia and went to book as an assistant booker for Eddie Graham in 1974. So I don't know. We'd have to really
possible.
go. But
it's possible.
But we don't know for sure, folks. But that just seems kind of weird. But go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I do have that video that he's talking about though of that wrestling match between him and Bill Watts.
Okay.
All right. August the 2nd, 1974. Atlanta City Auditorium, Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2 defeated Ole Anderson and Gene Anderson for the NWA Georgia Tag Team titles. And then the 23rd, the Omni in Atlanta, Mr. Wrestling number 2 defeated Buddy Colt by disqualification. Then September 2nd, Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia, Ole Anderson, Gene Anderson, and Harley Race versus Mr. Wrestling 1, Mr. Wrestling 2, and Mike McCord, who we all know is Austin Idol. No results for that match.
But at the time, Austin Idol wasn't saying, "Hey, baby, this is Austin Idol. You never talked around." He wasn't doing that yet. So.
And then on the 4th, Municipal Auditorium, Columbus, Georgia, Jack Briscoe, the champion, versus Mr. Wrestling number 2, for the NWA World Heavyweight title. It says here winner unknown, but we know that Mr. Duke did not capture the title. And then on the 13th, Atlanta City Auditorium in Atlanta, Georgia, Harley Race defeated Mr. Wrestling number 2 for the NWA Georgia Heavyweight title. Rodney, if you want to pick up.
Okay, we pick it up September the 20th, 1974. The Omni in Atlanta. It's Ole and Gene Anderson defeating Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2 for the Georgia Tag Team Championship. Then we go to September 27th, 1974, Atlanta City Auditorium, Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Wrestling 2 defeated Harley Race by disqualification. Macon Coliseum, Macon, Georgia, October the 10th, 1974, is Ole and Gene Anderson defeating Mr. Wrestling 2 and the Sheik. We've got to figure out what was going on there. All right, there's the Sports Palace, Griffin, Georgia, October 19th, 1974. Bob Roop and Mr. Wrestling 2 against Ole and Gene Anderson. Winner unknown there. Macon Coliseum, Macon, Georgia, October the 22nd, 1974. It's Rocky Johnson and Mr. Wrestling 2 defeating Gene and Ole Anderson. Sports Stadium, Tallahassee, Florida, on October the 25th, 1974, is Mr. Wrestling 2 versus Pak Song. That was for the Southern Heavyweight Championship. The winner.
All right, now, if that thing holds true, then he comes back to that same territory, Championship Wrestling from Florida, and he's Mr. Wrestling 2 now.
He lost a loser leave town match. He came back as Mr. Wrestling 2. Come on. Why not?
That's the reason it's hard to believe. Am I right?
Yeah, that's probably wrong. You're probably right about that. All right, so let's see. We're back in Macon Coliseum, Macon, Georgia, on October 28th, 1974. Mr. Wrestling 2 and Big Bill Dromo defeated the Garvins, Ronnie and Terry, by disqualification. Civic Center, Savannah, Georgia, October 31st, 1974. Mr. Wrestling 2 and Bob Roop defeating the Garvins. And then in Macon Coliseum on November the 5th, 1974, it's the Garvins defeating Mr. Wrestling 2 and Danny Little Bear. Columbus, Georgia, on November the 16th, 1974, Steve Kern and Mr. Wrestling 2 defeats Ron Terrence and Jimmy Garvin in that one. That's November the 20th, 1974, Municipal Auditorium, Columbus, Georgia. It's a 6-man tag with Buddy Cole, Roger Kirby, Bearcat Wright against Ole. This is another strange one. Ole and Gene Anderson and Mr. Wrestling 2. What about that? Atlanta City Auditorium, Atlanta, Georgia, November the 22nd, 1974. Harley Race defeats Mr. Wrestling 2 in a chain match. Then we head to the Sports Palace, Griffin, Georgia, November the 23rd, 1974, as Mr. Wrestling 2. Ole and Gene Anderson against Harley Race and the Mighty Yankees. Columbus, Georgia, November the 23rd, 1974, is Rocky Johnson and Mr. Wrestling 2 defeating Billy Spears and Jimmy Garvin. Atlanta City Auditorium, December the 6th, 1974, Mr. Wrestling 2 defeats Harley Race in a mask versus we don't know what match. Municipal Auditorium, Columbus, Georgia, on December the 11th, 1974, the Mighty Yankee 1 and 2 versus Mr. Wrestling 2 and Rocky Johnson, winner unknown. Bell Auditorium, Augusta, Georgia, on December the 16th, 1974, Ken Patera and Mr. Wrestling 2 defeat the Mighty Yankees. And Atlanta City Auditorium, December the 20th, 1974, and that's back in Atlanta, Mr. Wrestling 2 defeats Buddy Colt in a Texas death match. And I think we've got we got a video of that. And then we go to the Macon Coliseum, Macon, Georgia, on December the 34th, 1974, as Man Mountain Blackwell versus Mr. Wrestling 2, winner unknown.
You know, that is just some of his matches. Let's remember now, he wrestled 7 days a week, no time off during this whole time. Am I correct about this, Robert?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's only 6 months worth of.
By the way, the Mighty Yankees was managed by J.C. Dykes.
But I was about to ask, yeah.
During this time. So, okay, Robert, we're going to have a little bit of show and tell, and then we'll get to the questions. But Robert's got a lot of photographs and stuff that he wants to show us, so we're going to turn everything over to Robert now.
Before I get to that, I wanted to say, for you guys as well as me, a little bit when we would go to the matches. The wrestlers would always have just kind of bring you back in, if you can, in your mind and envision walking into the arena, seeing the table set up, each wrestler having their pictures and their magazines or their memorabilia setups for sale. And Dad at one point had a pretty good bit of stuff, from like the little sloped caps with the Wrestling 2 on top, the towels that would go around the neck that had the Wrestling 2 that he would throw into the audience, pictures, of course, lots of that kind of stuff. And then there was one thing that was kind of unique that not a lot of people actually would sell at these, but my dad did. And here's, can you hear it?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. So he had a little 45 record that he would sell.
We have that somewhere.
We have that one somewhere. Yes.
We have that somewhere.
A song obviously called Knee Power, and that was written by a country singer. His president of his fan club was Maggie, and I talked to her not too long ago. She was the one that helped orchestrate getting that put together, and then on the back of the 45 would have all the words to the song and all that kind of stuff. But it was kind of a neat little memorabilia thing, but not, you can't buy records anymore.
No, that song had a beat to a similar gospel song, didn't it?
Did it?
I'm thinking it did.
I'm not an authority on that
one. Great song, though.
Old time religion, could it, Brent?
Do what?
Might have been that old time religion.
I believe it might have been old time religion. I believe it was to the beat, old time religion. I'm not for sure, but yeah, I think it was.
All right, so next I'm going to pull up a video. If I can get this thing rolling here for a second, I'll talk while I'm getting it done. It basically, going through some of Dad's trunks, boxes, we found some reel-to-reel videos. And so bear with me a second here. I'm going to cue this up to be in the right spot. We'll come back to this. So we're going to start it about here. So this first one, there's two matches. This first match is between Dad and, forgive me again, that's
Nikolai Volkov.
Volkov, yeah. And so they wrestle, and this is when Dick Slater became a babyface. He comes out in the match, helps Dad, because Toru Tanaka and a few others come in and they jump him. And I want to say this is around the 1978 time frame. So this is the first video. Second one, which will follow right after it, is between Dad and Gorilla Monsoon. And you have a referee in there. I don't know who the referee is, but then he gets bumped out, and Lou Thesz comes out and takes over as the referee. And this is just after Gorilla Monsoon hurt Wrestling 2's shoulder and put him out for a little while, and now he's taking revenge to get him back. So these are videos that aren't out there that I had converted to DVD off of my dad's 8mm reel-to-reel. So we'll share these now.
By the way, Gary Hart is the manager in this match.
Yep.
Who do we say was the referee? Bobby Simmons, right?
Bobby Simmons is, yeah. I was actually thinking it would have been cool to have him on today to kind of talk about this one, but I didn't plan that out ahead enough.
Now, is this from the City Auditorium?
It is, yep.
Who was the ring announcer? Was that Freddie Miller? I can't tell, but it looked like it might have been Freddie Miller.
How do you like Bobby's hair there? That's pretty awesome.
Signs of the times back then.
Yes, sir. In the 70s. He's still wanting to get a hold of Gary Hart, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's going after Gary.
Got his jacket up over his head.
Well, Nikolai Volkov was in shape here, wasn't he?
Yeah, big old man.
I miss wrestling like this.
Yeah, I do too. It's definitely a lost art.
Now, was this Nikolai was the Georgia champion at this time?
Not sure. That was a big one.
Well, I loved his mannerisms. He didn't have to do the facial because his whole body told the story.
Yeah.
I remember this match playing on TV. I sure do.
That Bobby Simmons always in the way.
Right now. And just falls asleep on the bottom rope.
Going after Gary Hart now. You know, most people probably don't remember Gary Hart too much with hair. So,
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. In the beginning of this match, it didn't show either of them with the title around their waist. I'm not sure if that is or not.
This might have been when the spoiler then was the champ. You know what? Oh, there goes Slater.
there he is, Nick Slater hitting the ring.
Everybody, Gary's just having a bad night. I'll tell you right now.
Look at the crowd going crazy for him beating up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You don't have to have audio with this. You can see those people. They're excited.
There's the belt right there. You see the belt? Looks like Freddie. I guess it's Freddie Miller on ringside. Had the belt.
Okay. Maybe it is then, yeah. Maybe I just missed it. I don't know if Nick Slater was injured from a previous match or if he was.
There's Sir Clements, right?
Yeah.
I think it is.
That's the Stomper? No, who is this coming in? Brute Bernard?
Mr. Fuji's in there.
Animal.
Naka.
Oh, Gary's put out a sock with the soap on it.
I would love to heard the actual people.
Crowd.
I bet the crowd was going nuts
Yeah.
during this. All right,
Is
now
that Bob Orton?
Bob Orton Jr. Yeah.
Bob Orton Jr. For those new wrestling fans, Randy Orton's father right there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nick Slater's still pretty delirious. Watch, he's still swinging.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he does have
There's the belt right there.
Yeah, he does have the belt with him. But it looked like he was handing it to Dick Slater, though, wasn't it? Well, was it? Well, Bobby did get knocked down. Maybe he just it knocked him silly. Maybe he didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's the belt.
Yeah. I love that belt. That belt was just a tremendous belt.
Yeah.
Just don't clean it with toothpaste.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, we and Rodney cleaned it with toothpaste one time to get it ready for TV, and it turned green.
It turned green, yeah. They were able to fix it up. I don't know what they did to it, but they had
Well, I
something
think it's
clean
just
up.
like toothpaste. It just got stuck on there. They probably just washed it off with some alcohol or something.
Oh, we had it looking good, though.
Well, we did.
Look at that crowd.
Yeah, he put the title on them too.
Yeah.
Man,
So this next one is it's going to kind of start in the already underway between him and Gorilla Monsoon, and then this one will go to the end, and I'm going to jump back to the beginning to finish the match. So this is a rematch between the two of them, where Wrestling 2 was out for a while with a really hurt shoulder, and he realizes, you'll see during the match, he realizes, oh, this is my opportunity to get back at him. Watch his knee right here. Bang.
I'm looking at this, Robert. That does not look like Gorilla Monsoon.
That doesn't? I want to say the video that I I mean, who do you think that is?
I don't know, but does that look like Gorilla Monsoon to you guys? I'm not for sure who it is. I'm not for sure who that is, though.
There's a closer picture. I could be wrong, but I want to say the information I had said that, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, he's got that Abraham Lincoln beard, which Gorilla always
At the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be just But now remember, this is 19. Probably this is probably earlier than that other video, isn't it?
Yeah, possibly. Again, it's just two reel-to-reels they put onto one disc. So
Kevin is saying that it could be the Russian Stomper, Kevin Pinley.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of Gorilla Monsoon. Hey, remember now, if this was 1974-75, we're only 5 years old.
Glenn, he's not hairy enough to be Dutch Mantel.
No. Not even the original Dutch Mantel.
Now, who's the referee? Is that Bobby Simmons?
No. So I've never recalled seeing it.
Look at the blood spots all over the ring apron. I mean, all over the ring mat.
Whoa.
Wait,
I noticed the referee wasn't all excited about that.
Gorilla. Glenn Shelton saying that is Gorilla Monsoon. So,
yeah.
Is that Doug Smith referee?
Yeah, it's very possible.
I don't think it is. I don't think that is Doug Smith. Could be.
So he's trying to
is this one from the city? Is this one from the City Auditorium as well?
I think so, yeah. So he's trying to rehurt the arm again, and then tides turn. He kind of gets after it and starts going after his shoulder.
Love it. I love it.
So it's not done yet. He's going to keep beating on him.
You can't trust them dirty wrestlers. I'm telling you, you can't trust any of them.
So coming up is where this referee is going to get hurt.
Now, CM is saying that it's Stan Vachon.
I thought Stan Vachon didn't have any hair. Did he?
I don't remember Stan Vachon having hair.
There goes Lou Thesz right there.
Yeah.
I can see Lou Thesz fixing to stretch this man.
Yeah. He turned around to tell him to get away, and he realized who was standing there right there.
I love it. Oh, great stuff.
They had some extra light on that ring that particular night.
Look at that ring move, though. You don't see that much anymore, but the rope, the actual ring is moving when they're. People don't realize how every Friday night that City Auditorium was packed.
Oh, there goes the knee lift.
Oh,
Look at the crowd.
I love it.
Uh-oh, here it goes. Now, this is after the match, right?
This match is over, yeah. Lou Thesz letting it run.
So Thesz is now refereeing this next match?
He is. As of right now, anyway. So hang on, let me get you back to the beginning again.
Good stuff, though. Just tremendous matches and stuff. Whoa.
That's a mistake right there. When you get up off the mat, you better come out quick. Not you're setting yourself up for the knee.
Oh man, just great stuff. Look at this. He's taking him out. That's just
He was going to get him by the leg, and he realized, wait a minute, I can tear up his arm just like he tore up my arm.
Love it.
Oh, backwards. Ooh.
Whoa. Once again, folks, never seen before.
No ropes
footage.
around the ring. You notice that? No ropes around the ring. Just
no. On the back of my dad's trunk.
And
too, he's got
apparently this was a match afterwards because Lou Thesz is counting him out.
Well, what, you think that might have been a 2 out of 3 fall match?
Maybe
It might have been. Oh, you know what?
Texas death match.
It is a 2 out of 3 match because he counts him out again here a second time, and then he declares him the winner here. Watch. So he tells him to stay back. Greg Valentine comes out to help him.
Yeah, that's Johnny Valentine.
Or Johnny Valentine, I mean.
Yeah, I believe that's Johnny Valentine. So this was in 1974 probably, because I don't remember Johnny Valentine being there in the even 76, 77. Oh man, this is good stuff. Yeah, I see blood all over his back.
Yeah.
You were talking about.
It's just off the map, off the canvas there from a previous match or something. Neither one of these guys are bloody.
Oh, that type of wrestling needs to come back. That was good stuff back in those days.
That's good stuff.
All right, Robert, I think you've got some other stuff to share with us, and then we'll see what the people have to say the inside.
All right. So the next one here is of when Wrestling 1 and 2, forgive me, I got to find it real quick. We're trying to get back together. I'm sorry. No. This is a different one. This is when they were feuding. All right, so now I can share screen. Bear with me. They were feuding, and can you see that?
Yeah, let me add it to the thing there.
They were feuding, and so that's the cover. So notice this is 74 November. And so this one is how and why Tim Woods became a bald wrestler. So this is when, before the coal miners match, but after, before the coal miners match, they were still feuding, and whoever lost this match either had to have their head shaved or remove their mask. And Tim Woods was the one that lost. And here he is getting his head shaved in the middle of the ring. It says here, having head shaved by one of Atlanta's top hairstylists in the ring, center of the ring.
Well, at least you have a top hairstylist too. Look. And then he runs around telling everybody, look how good I look with this haircut.
So
really and truly, Tim Woods, really, honestly, he kind of passed the torch to your father. Wouldn't you say that he really pushed him to get your father over?
Yes, 100% yes to answer that question. But they were setting him up to try to contend for the world title.
Yeah.
So that's why they took his mask off, and he was starting to wrestle Jack Briscoe more and all that kind of stuff. So as well as he got in the plane crash. So that was the other why he kind of immediately dropped off the scene, is he was injured really bad from that plane crash. And he came back later from that with the mask back on, but in the earlier years when he took his hood off, it was because they were trying to get him ready to get the world title. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole idea of bringing in Wrestling 2 was to create the tag team as well as another independent masked wrestler, because they knew that the Wrestling 1 was going to come off.
All right. You do have a special mask for us, don't you?
I do.
He's got a special mask.
I wish I could preempt this. I didn't have it with me, but there's a picture of him sitting with it on at a like a conference or something. But as everyone knows, Dad didn't ever take his mask off, and that goes for in the shower, that goes for traveling and so forth. And so even eating, he would not take it off. And this is his eating mask that he would wear. And so basically, trying to get my hand in here. Bear with me. This mask has the mouth taken out, so he's able to eat with it without getting it filthy and dirty and so forth. That's a better way to hold it up, I guess. So my mom was pretty creative with kind of coming up with different designs on these. So pretty cool. So this is the only one that he ever had. This has the original leather face. He went from leather to more of a stretchy type of face, but the original one had this leather type material on it. So yeah, it's kind of something pretty cool to see. Not a lot of.
I remember seeing him in one of the magazines with that mask on.
Yep. Yeah, I have it here. Maybe while we're looking at names, I'll try to peek and see if I can't find that photo. I know I have it.
And later on, do you have the belts available for us to look at?
I might have something like that. Yeah.
All right.
So we'll
That's what I'm talking
see
about.
what the people have got to say. We've got over 100 comments, by the way, Robert. So
Very cool. Let's roll into that.
We'll see what we've got going on here. Thank you so much, also, all the insiders, for being a part of the show. We certainly do appreciate it. Glenn Shelton saying good evening. One of our supporters from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Yvonne Burns. Thank you so much. Another one of our supporters, Dr. Philbo Grice. Greetings, gentlemen. I hope you had a great weekend. Everybody have a good weekend?
Mine was perfect.
Mine was cold. I was outside. So very cold. Victor Nash, another one of our supporters. Hello, everyone. Hope all is well. Glenn Allen Shelton, 2 minutes late. Jack, could you go ahead and put him down for?
I'm writing it down now. Santa's coming.
That Bill
Not to your house, Glenn.
That Bill Watts $50 fine. Hey, by the way, Robert, did your dad ever get fined by Bill Watts for being late?
I don't think so. My dad was generally one of the first people to show up, usually at matches.
Yeah,
That's right.
He was usually early.
Yeah, because he for a long time, I couldn't believe it. He would ride with Dad, and we would go with him sometimes. And I was thinking, man, he'd get there really early because Dad had to get there at about 5 o'clock, and he'd just go with them. I couldn't believe it.
I think that's kind of how it started. His dad would be there early, and your dad would probably be like, "What are you doing here so early? We should be riding together. What's going on?
What's happening here?" There's Chaplain Freddie Rooster Roper, the guy we just, at the beginning of this show, we saw his paintings. Hey, guys, Robert. Man, your dad was always my favorite. We got to meet your dad a few years ago at a wrestling event. Our church did. My wife got to sit down with your dad and help at his table all evening. It was a great memory we'll always cherish. Thanks for sharing your dad with us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Kevin, hello everybody. Hello, Kevin. How you doing? Michael Barr, one of our supporters as well. Hello,
Michael.
Chad. I'm not even going to try to say that middle name.
Mojo Hitter.
Mojo Hitter.
Mojo Hitter. That's right.
Coleman.
Hello there, Chad.
That's his ring name. He's the Mojo Hitter.
Victor Nash, was that Brian White's house in the back? I know what he's talking about. Yeah,
Bray White.
Bray White. Yeah, I maybe it was. Rick Brooks. Hello, guys, from a cold and sunny Falmouth, Kentucky. Christopher Hughes. Hello, gentlemen. I've been looking forward to this all week. One of my favorites. Two.
That's right.
You know what? That was so great. Robert, am I telling when people would yell at me?
I can tell you that the base of when people would say it would resonate the auditorium, and it would just echo like there was like a concert going on with bass going. It was just incredible.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I was on the receiving end of that day lift a few times, and setting up, waiting for it to come, and that building rocking with that 2-2-2 chant would send chills up my spine. And I didn't even care if it was stiff or not, and it never was, by the way. But yeah, that's something, man.
Stuart Kemp said, "Got to love relaxing at things you enjoy." Thank you so much, Stuart. We certainly appreciate it. Freddie Rooster Roper said, "Man, thank you so much. That was a blessing for me. I appreciate it. We appreciate you, Freddie. Thank you so much, and thank all the people who support our channel. We've been blessed ourselves. We have almost 22,000 followers and insiders now, and we thank each and every. We just recently we had a Road Warriors. We put a Road Warriors photograph. It was shared 1,200 times. 1,200 shares just for that picture alone, and we appreciate y'all sharing our
Check this one out.
Let me get up. Oh, Road Warrior Animal and Jerry Lawler.
That was in when we were down in Alabama.
Yeah,
we got to sit and visit with them.
Oh, I love that. Oh, let's see, where was I at there? Glenn Allen said, I guess he's talking about his father has been gone 20, still feel like yesterday. Greg and Victoria Hodge. I love Mr. Wrestling 2 so much, Victoria.
Thank you.
Greg and I met Mr. Wrestling 2 in Barnesville 2017. I believe, and you couldn't have met a better guy.
That's where that picture I just showed you was from, that Barnesville show.
From the Barnesville, Georgia?
Yeah.
Donovan Graham, why don't you do a tribute to the original White Mask Baxter, the South Wrestling Pro? We will do that one time with Leon Baxter. Yes, we will do that. Somebody said rest in peace, Buddy Cope, but Glenn, I think Buddy Cope, Jack, you said
Buddy's still with us. Yep, Buddy's still with us.
We do need to speak to him. I think he'll tell us some good stuff.
He's got good stories.
Kevin said, never saw Buddy Cope wrestle. We moved from Atlanta in 69, so I doubt he was there then. Michael Barr said, Mr. Wrestling 2 was one of the very first wrestlers that got me to watching pro wrestling when I was a teenager living in Troy, Alabama. His hidden identity is what caught my attention to wrestling. Christopher Hughes, wow, would have loved the 2 and Buddy Cope match. Really enjoyed both those guys. And knowing Buddy Cope, he cheated from beginning to end.
Right?
You know he did. That Buddy Cope was a cheater. Paul said, hi from
Guelph.
No
offense, I make the same noise clearing my throat every morning.
Well.
Just kidding.
Robert, what do you say? We couldn't figure out what this is.
Guelph?
Guelph? All right.
I think that's, I don't know.
We had our time.
Is that a little town or something?
Where did you say that was, Paul? Where did you say that was from?
In Canada.
Yeah, I think you said
right,
Canada.
So.
Rita Cantrell. Hey, y'all. Hello to you. And Greg and Victoria Hodge, hello to you, and thank you so much for being a part of the show. Some guy said he played a tournament in that place at one point in '95. He said he lived in Ohio. So, Kevin said during that Lawler match, was Lawler trying to expose 2 for who he was? He was going after the mask.
Trying to take his mask off, yeah.
It was, and that's a good match. For those of you who hadn't seen it, it's a great match. How did Mr. Wrestling 2 feel about the mask Mr. Wrestling 1? Was there agreement at first? Robert, I think you explained that, but
yeah, there was it was the original, sorry, I'm trying to find a picture, but it came in with him putting the mask on. That was the idea of bringing him back out of retirement from Johnny Rubberman back into wrestling with the mask on. So that was the whole plan from the beginning with Wrestling 1.
Now, wasn't your dad living in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the time?
He was, yep.
And running some?
Actually, Nashville. Not Chattanooga. Yeah, that's where I was born. And he was running a gas station with my grandfather, my mother's father, that they bought, and doing a little mechanic work and whatever, and serving gas, and wasn't sure if he was going to get back into wrestling, and then the opportunity. Leo Garibaldi, I don't know if you know who that is or not. He and his father wrestled, were really famous back in the 60s and 70s in the California West Coast side. And then he started getting into the booking and promoting side of it, running towns and stuff. And he's the one that brought Dad back in with the mask on. I know there's some other people that say they have, but it was Leo Garibaldi.
Yes, Jerry Jarrett has said he did it.
Yeah.
And I think somebody else has said he did it. I think Ole Anderson even said he did it. Ole wasn't even nowhere around during that time.
Yeah, no.
So we've set the record straight, folks. Leo Garibaldi is the person.
Yep.
Put two in. And Victor Nash said, where did they come up with the name Mr. Wrestling? No. Did Tim Woods ever figure out, did he ever tell you how he came up with Mr. Wrestling?
Outside of the obvious, because he had a tremendous collegiate wrestling career, and wrestling with Danny Hodge and a bunch of the other other guys that went from collegiate to pro. So outside of that, putting a mask on and just calling it Mr. Wrestling, I mean, it seemed kind of appropriate. I don't know. There's much more detail to that.
Rick Brooks.
I can ask Wesley though. I still keep in touch with his son.
Yeah, if he does know next time we come on. Rick Brooks, thank you so much for the $2. I think that's called Super Chat. I believe that's what that's called over on YouTube. Thank you so much. We certainly appreciate it. Old school wrestling is the best. We love old school wrestling. That's what we grew up on. That's what we love. Paul talks about. He's talking about that town again, and so we'll have to figure out where he's coming from.
Well, it's like Hawaii, right? Hawaii, we've got words that are spelled EWA. Like, how would you pronounce EWA? So the W in the Hawaiian language is like a V, like Victor. So it's Eva. So depending on the area that you're in and the way they say the words is going to make it. American language is the hardest damn thing to learn anyway.
Well, I was talking to Robert, and we were talking about the supporter page and how people can support the page. And so I told him, I said, we're really saving up so we all can have the same likes. And he said, "What did you say?" You said he was making fun of my Southern drawl.
Rodney, I reminded him of how my mom would love to hear when your mom would tell her, she's going to get her hair cut.
Yeah, she loved that. I mean, I remember her making fun of my mother because she really talked. We were very Southern people.
And for anyone that doesn't know, my mother's from Dublin, Ireland, so she spoke with an Irish accent. So the Southern was hard for her to understand sometimes. So it was just different culture. So it wasn't anything other than it was innocent, but it was cool. It was cool though at the same time.
By the way, we hung out a lot when we were kids.
Yeah,
a lot when we were kids at that time. Paul said something about that gooing. We're going to have you on, Paul, just so you can say that name.
Ramito.
Victor said, Jack, you got a new blue cover for your microphone.
Hey, I've got all kinds of covers. We made a profit this month of $1.75, and
$1.78 a piece. Yeah, we're going to be able to play for that new car soon. That $1.78 that we actually made to eventually buy some lights and stuff. Or as Robert made fun of me. What did you say? That's right. Let's see. Greg and Victoria Hodge said he was the best wrestler alongside the Masked Superstar.
He's a great dude too.
Yeah, they had great matches. Let's again said, is this story about two versus Bruno, or Bruno couldn't out wrestle him? I don't know what you're talking about, Kevin.
Bruno Sammartino, probably.
But I will tell you this. I think between the match between Wrestling 2 Bruno, I believe Wrestling 2 could have open. I really did.
Yeah, there were times I remember when Dad would tell me there would be, because I wrestled amateur and in the school and whatnot, and he would tell me stories about how sometimes guys that had wrestling backgrounds would try to ground wrestle him because Dad was really good on the ground. And he would always tell me stories about that. So some of them that may not have had it would try, and he would make them just look silly.
He knew what he was doing, no doubt. Jeff Davis is with us. Hello, Jeff. Thank you so much. Michael Barr, I'm looking for Mr. Wrestling 2 mask to add to my masked wrestlers collection. I believe those are very hard to find.
Yeah, I had two. One went into his casket with him, and I have one, and the one I just showed you. Unfortunately, I don't have any more.
Victor Nash,
have to get Miss Tim's to take care of that for us.
Yeah.
I got to look at some of those matches back in 1974. Heck, I was only 3 years old at the time. I was 3 or 4. Michael Barr wanted to know how you're doing, Robert.
I'm doing good. Good to see you too, man. So yeah, he's the one that asked about the mask, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame has one as well in their museum.
Jeff Hines. Hey, guys. Love these shows about Mr. Wrestling 2. Thanks, Robert, for sharing the memories.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Greg and Victoria wants to know, Robert, did you travel with your dad on his wrestling matches?
I did. Not till I got a little older, and because I'm the youngest of 3 boys, I would travel with him in the summer when we were out of school. But I didn't get to a lot of what we're covering right now. I was too young for. But the time that I did travel was pushing, between probably 78 and 83, 84, something like that. That was Mid-South days, and then when he finished Mid-South, he went on to WWF for about 2 years almost, and I didn't travel at all with him on that, and then that was it.
Kevin asks, how old was you, Robert, before you knew you had a famous dad?
Great question. Probably not till I was in getting close to being a teenager. I just, when you grow up with it, it's just normal. And the only thing you know is you don't tell, right? You have to keep the secret. And so I think I shared this in the past video, but it's just a funny story. The quick one is, even my own neighbors, my best friends that were at my house every day, kids I went to school with, didn't know the better, and they didn't know anything about who my dad was, other than the story was he was a sports writer. And we traveled around all the time doing that stuff. And so, yeah. And so as I got older and started seeing it more on TV and starting traveling with him, and people, when we'd go to the matches, we would get the craziest questions asked, like, have I ever seen him without his mask on? Or, do I have a mom? I'm like, and so, just like really kind of, it's just, I guess it's innocent questions that you would take for granted as a person on the other side of it, but the other people just really don't know. So they just let it blurt sometimes. And yeah, it was just kind of so once I started seeing that and how my dad would kind of keep me protected away from a lot of things, I kind of started getting the understanding of it.
Andre Corbin, which is with Wrestling, I think it's a YouTube channel. He says, I remember when Mr. Wrestling 2 showed up on All South Championship Wrestling. Hey, there's old George Lambert. Some people might know him as Ben Masters.
You got one of those records, George?
The old B Power. I bet he does have one. I would say he does. Michael Barr, he was the one of the only wrestlers that I did not have a chance to meet in person. He said, let me see. Victor Nash said, was that Mr. Wrestling 2's entrance music?
No.
No, not really. I think he may have tried it a few times, but no, not really. It was just a promotional item that you could buy as a, versus a picture or a hat or a scarf or something.
At that time, they didn't really do any ring music.
No, not yet.
Kevin said, how many times did he work for Nick Gulas as Mr. Wrestling 2? He didn't wrestle for him too many times because Nick Gulas kind of tried to have fake Wrestling 2s over.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think it was more than 1 or 2 at the most, but I don't know.
poor old Nick was bad about that, and I can remember they would want to book him over there at Chattanooga. He said, "Won't draw nothing." He said, "Because Nick Goulas said Mr. Wrestling 2 is going to be there 30 times, and it ended up being Mr. Wrestling 3 or Mr. Wrestling 5 or 55 or 63."
That's right.
With me, and he did that all the time. Nick was so bad at that.
Bait and switch.
Yeah, Richard Hood said, "Running late. How much do I owe?" I said, "Richard, you're a supporter. You don't owe nothing, so you can be late. So you're a supporter."
Perks of membership.
Perks. That's right. Jeff Hines, this is the match Slater saved 2. Yes.
Yep.
Kevin Barkwell said, "Love the angle in the mid-'70s with Mr. Wrestling 2 and Dick Slater. Some of the best matches." I've said this before. That's some of the best matches I ever saw. Dick Slater Wrestling 2. Now, Superstar and your dad had great matches, but Wrestling 2 Dick Slater matches, I still remember to this day watching them in Rome, Georgia.
Yep.
Speaking of which,
let me turn that off. Let me put it up here so people can see this.
got the Master Superstar shirt on tonight. I would wear a Wrestling 2 shirt, Robert, if you would hit ProWrestlingTees.com and put them out there for sale.
You know what? It's funny. It's funny you said that. I was just talking to Brent, and he was going to send me a link on that, and I'm gonna get them out there. What I'm gonna do is basically get the outline. I should take this off. I can show you, but get the outline of the black part of his mask and create like a brand with that. So it'll be just the thing. But here's can you see that?
Let me get to it here.
Sorry, I broke my wrist, so I'm kind of healing right now. But just the black part of, I can't really twist it. There we go. The black part.
That's what they always say when they're trying to get off.
I think I can help you with that, Robert.
Yeah. Breaking my arm or the
both. He can take care of both for you.
All right. No, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, when anybody has one of those on, I was asking you if you're sneaking an object in that.
In the
apparatus.
glove.
This injury that I received 10 years ago, I still have to wear this brace.
I wish I could tell you it was a dramatic accident, but it was as dumb as it comes.
Charles Alford is with us. Charles, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Hello, glad to be here. We're glad to see you on here. Paul said, "Heart with hair and Volkov was built." Boy, he was. And Charles said he very aggressive match, and it was. Steve Kane, he said, "I missed the intro." Is Robert Walker's 2 son?
Yep.
He is.
I'm the youngest of 3 boys.
Mickey Mayfield said Wrestling 2 was our every week hero, whereas Dusty was the cavalry that would come in once in a while. Kevin said a rubber man. Yes. Paul Hatchett is with us. Hello, gentlemen. I hope all of you are well. Kevin said he never saw Bobby referee.
Well,
Now he has.
no, he has. Unless he missed it.
Yeah, but if you did, you can go back and watch it on the replay. It'll be available. We'll keep it up. We'll pin this video to the top for a while.
How are we doing on time?
We're going to go a little later today.
Okay.
I told everybody it would probably be 9 o'clock before we get on there because I knew a bunch of people.
I just know our usual cutoff time. We're already past it, so.
Yeah, I told them it would be around 9 o'clock that we'd be over there because I wanted to make sure we had a little time. Because I knew we'd have a lot of people on the day. I think Slater comes off the top rope for the save. I think it was a mask match. I guess he's talking about somewhere on Victor Nash. I never knew Gary Hart even had hair. Charles said the punches, woo, wow, whoosh.
That's right.
I missed that.
Exactly
time.
right.
I mean the whooshes, that Charles, that was what
I've
made.
been watching some Mid-Atlantic matches, and they were all there. I wanted to tell you, love the crowd response.
A really good footage. Michael Barr said, Kevin said, Gary Hart, my favorite manager. Bob Orton Sr.'s son. I guess we're talking about Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Freddie Rooster Roper said, I remember that match where Dick Slater came in. Awesome wrestling in those days. Man, it was good. Yes, it was. Richard said 2 was bad. He was. You get that mask to show how bad he was. Rita said, can't tell who was the ref. And that first one was Bobby Simmons, but we don't know who the other guy was. I'm not for sure. Maybe somebody that was there at the time may know who that was. Glenn Allen said the Georgia title was a pretty belt. Dick Slater, Bob Orton Jr., a great team. Yes, they were a great team. Kevin said Dutch Mantel. No, it was Dutch Mantel. By the way, Dutch Mantel did comment on a video of ours today. Roberto Soto and him had an altercation back in the All-South Championship Wrestling time. And Dutch went in there with a handle. And somebody said it was a broom handle. Well, Dutch let us know today that no, that was not a broom handle. That was a mop handle. He made sure to let us know that on our.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. Yeah. Dennis Mitchell said, "Amen. The good old days." Yes, and everybody was coming over with different names of who they thought it was, and we'll go past that. Somebody said the Mighty Igor, but I don't think that was the Mighty Igor. I'm not there. And Glenn Allen said that is Gorilla Monsoon.
I'm pretty sure it is.
See, everybody had some names, but at least we started a lot of people talking. Well, there's a lot of
started the controversy, Brent.
But I know I'm always a controversy starter. I started off, and Rodney usually is the one, but I started it tonight. So now, one guy said this guy's too small to be Gorilla, but I don't know.
He looked like a pretty good sized boy to me.
Yeah. Mark Boyantz. Is that how you say his name? Gorilla Monsoon, 1970. That is him. Let's see. Mickey Mayfield went through a lot of different matches. 2 versus Superstar, 2 versus Slater, 2 versus the Assassin, 2 versus the Spoiler. All great stuff. 2 versus Paxson. Face It, 2 versus the World Atlanta Love Wrestling.
Nice.
Right.
That is true. That's
at one point, Dad said that if you didn't have 2 on the card, you didn't draw a house.
Yeah.
It got that. It was to that degree.
Wow.
Christopher Hughes said this whole show has been freaking awesome. I love pro wrestling nerd. Which one are you? One of us a nerd? Hey, we'll take that. We don't care. We love professional wrestling.
No, he's saying that he's a pro wrestling nerd. He's not calling you a nerd.
I don't mind. No, I was called that when I was in school. So maybe that brought some bad memories back for me, Chris.
He wasn't calling you. He said he loves being a pro wrestling nerd. That's bad there.
Rodney wasn't beating him up for you, man. Come on.
No, but you got to watch Rodney. He will bust you out.
I know he will.
Good old sucker punch.
And let me tell you, we were wrestling. I believe that particular night, we'll just have to tell this little personal story right here. We were wrestling, and there was a top thing at Robert's house.
Loft.
We lived there. We lived there for a while. I think we lived there maybe 6 months, whatever. But there was a little loft up there, so we were having wrestling matches up there. And I believe someone got the idea that somebody's going to be wrestling too. And we went to get a Wrestling 2 mask. We went up there, we wrestled a little bit, and we did what we had to do in Wrestle 2. And I got tired. I didn't want to wrestle no more. Rodney got mad at me and just punched me right in the eye. You remember that, Robert?
I was aiming for the nose.
He moved a little too quick.
Oh.
It was a forearm.
Make up a story. What happened?
Forearm. Totally legal. Forearm.
Yeah, when the parents got home, they weren't buying any of it.
Nope.
They wasn't. They knew something was going on, no doubt.
And the thing that they would say every time, don't y'all be wrestling while we're gone. Next thing we know, we're moving the coffee table.
They won't know a thing.
John would take and with the hair dryer, he'd blow our hair dry when we'd sweat. It's bad.
We're all running out of time, so I'm going through and make sure we don't have the questions. We have some questions there.
Hey, find Pat Rose's comments.
All right, let me go to Pat Rose here. Pat Rose right here. Two. Pat Rose. Hey, I've got
Rose,
one, man.
Let me say, Pat, totally good friend of Dad's. We got to, I was at Dad's house. Quick little story about Pat. I was at Dad's house. It was close to Dad's time where he was going to pass. And obviously, I didn't know that at the time, but it was like the week before. And I'm talking to him, and he would have little times because of his dementia where he would be coherent and would be like normal. And so when those opportunities came up, I would FaceTime people and I would call people and let him talk to his friends and do things with them like that. And so we actually called Pat like the week before and got him on the phone and got him to say hello and got to, chit chat real quick. And I remember him telling us that it made his day. So that was pretty awesome. But, and then, so pretty cool.
Let's see. Pat Rose said, "I'm so thankful the Camden got to FaceTime too just before he passed. Needless to say, I cried. So did Camden, and I felt bad because I missed that FaceTime. I did. I missed it. I was off doing something that day, and I wasn't able to take the telephone call that day. We will hit a couple of quarters, but before we do that, before we run out of time, because we will have to get out of here at 9:00, so we will come back to your questions in just a moment. But we've got to see some more show and tell by Robert.
Yeah.
More show and tell. Okay, I'm gonna throw it all the way up to you, Robert. You can tell a story and you can show your show.
Okay. So last time we were on, I showed some of the belts, some of the things that were important to Dad, and so there were 4 belts that he kind of held close to his heart and felt, he kind of put his stamp on. I don't know how else best to say it, but that he really would work hard to achieve and maintain and so forth. And obviously, everybody knows the Georgia heavyweight was his belt, for the lack of a better explanation. But there was a few others that were close to his heart, and one of them was the Georgia heavyweight tag team belt that he won 6 times, 4 of 6 with Mr. Wrestling #1. Another time with I think it was Bob Orton Jr. I think another time with Tony Atlas. I think those are the 6, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't have them. And so I went out because for Dad's service and memorial, I wanted to display and have some things that were there to share with everybody and whatnot. So I went out on a hunt to try to find somebody to help make an actual real belt, but replica, because it wasn't the belt that he held at that time. But I found online a company called Top Rope Belts. The gentleman's name that owns the company is Randy. So anybody that's interested in having replica belts made, these are real belts. They're not $100 belts. These are a couple $1,000 each. They're not cheap, but they're the real thing. And so I had them made, and so I've recently received them and got them in, and I wanted to share them with everybody here. So the Georgia heavyweight tag team title is this little guy right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there it is.
Kind of
Awesome.
Now this is the original format of the Georgia heavyweight tag team title. If you go back and look at videos, there's another one that looks like that I think they brought from another territory that looks like, I'm going to just set this behind me. That looks like the Georgia, just the Georgia, let's see. I'm sorry, not Georgia. It looks like the national heavyweight title belt. It's not the world title. It looks like they're, anyway, yeah, it looks like they're national tag team title belts is what it looks like, but they're calling it the Georgia belt. Okay, so second important belt to him that he worked hard for was a couple times early in his career was with, I I think it was Bill Watts, and I can't remember off the top of my head now, but then later in the career was also Ted DiBiase, and Junkyard Dog was the North American heavyweight title. And this little guy is heavy as crap. But here's this little guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. And that's what a new one would look like. The one that we saw was beat up pretty good.
Yeah.
That is
I'm trying not
beautiful.
to get so much glare on it, but yeah. And this thing weighs probably 15, 20 pounds. I mean, it's these are solid plates, solid brass, solid. I mean, look at how thick the.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are not. No, that's some good
So
stuff.
if you're really into it and really want a real belt, and this is what you're looking for, top rope belts is for sure where you can go for that. And I'll also kind of caveat that off with what I showed from before. I'll start off with this photo, as we know that he's had several matches with Harley Race. Wasn't successful with ever actually getting awarded the title, but the one night at the Omni, he wrestled Harley Race, beat him for the title. The next day, office came back and said it was a disqualification, but he had to give the title back. But he actually came home with the title that night. So this is from that night.
We were there. We were there that night.
Okay. And so he also was. Now, this is something I didn't get. This is something he got over the years, or someone gave, or something, but is also.
Yeah. Yep,
Wow.
that's it.
This is kind of more like a fan belt. This isn't like what I just showed you. This is not one that he made, but it's still a beautiful belt. Still real leather. Still real plates. But this is the third belt that he really liked and really wanted to achieve. But
when, from the picture you showed was right after that's when he was given the champions trophy.
Yeah,
right after that, because of the what happened, the technicality.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a title that no other wrestler has ever gotten ever again. That was the only one time they ever did that. And then the last, of course, is the Georgia heavyweight title belt.
That's the deal right there.
Oh man, love that.
That's my favorite belt of all time.
Yeah. And you can see he's got his picture in the middle. You know, during the time that he actually was wrestling and had this belt so many times, he actually would put his picture in the belt. So that picture is in there just for the sake of, because that's what he used to do. That he held it for so long and so often that he was claiming it as his. So he would rub it in the, whatever. But kind of fun.
What sets that belt off is that silver that's around it.
I agree.
Around those the gold plates.
I agree 100%.
Beautiful.
All right, before we leave, we'll try to get some more people here, and I'll try to get questions. If you and I'm sorry if you did because I think we've had over 200 and something comments, and if we didn't get to them, I'm sorry, but we will get to some of the questions. Mark Todd said Georgia title is still my favorite. Mike, I get your name wrong every time.
Rollerson.
All right, thank you. The old NWA title is my favorite. Still the best belt ever that the Georgia heavyweight title was, and there's no doubt. I always loved that title. Now I think they make them huge. Christopher Hughes said at one point I had 1,547 wrestling magazines.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well, Christopher, do you not have those anymore?
Maybe he had a flood at his house and it's damaged like that.
Oh, don't bring that memory back. I'll cry over here. Tom said, did Wrestling 2 defeat Jack Briscoe for the title and then get disqualified for hitting him with the belt?
I don't recall that. I know he's defeated him several times when it wasn't title matches. But when the title matches were happening, I don't think he ever defeated him to get the title, no.
Victor Nash said, did Mr. Wrestling 2 ever bring home a bloody mask?
He would wash it. He would wash it before he came home. I know that's a funny statement, but remember, he didn't take it off. So when he would go in the shower with it, he would clean it and have it ready for the next day.
Yes, people don't understand. He'd drive 30 miles down the road and never take the mask off. So
yeah,
it was. Dad would always say he'd go to stop at a store somewhere, and he'd tell him, he said, "Are you going to take the mask off before you go in there?" He said, "No, I'm going in there with my mask."
We only had one incident where the clerk in that store had a fit.
Yeah, I remember going into one time.
It was like coming out of Augusta or somewhere like that.
Well, they thought they were going to get robbed.
Yeah,
But most people knew who Wrestling 2 was. Come on, everybody in Georgia knew who Wrestling 2 was.
And you notice that he never did get mobbed in any of the places that he went into. None of those stores or anything. Of course, most of the time they stopped at the same store every week.
Yeah. Michael Barr asked, Robert, did you communicate much with the other wrestlers when you went to the matches with your dad?
I did when I got a little older. In the beginning, I wasn't really even allowed in the dressing room, actually. So when I was younger, when I was younger, I would stay out with Fred and Charlie and all those guys. And but as I got a little older, then yes, I would. I've met pretty much all of them. Like when I was in Barnesville, just this last trip, Tommy Rich was somebody I would meet often, and he knew us really well personally, and he saw me there, and I'm thinking, hey, can you get a picture with? And I said, my dad, and he did a double take, like what, Robert? What? It was kind of a fun scenario to see him like double take that and go, holy crap. I'm 50 years old now. He remembered me when I was, 12, 11, 10.
Kevin said, I thought Wrestling 2 was absolutely fantastic as a heel as well. He was in Mid-South Wrestling during that year. And I guess he was also a heel in Dothan, right? In the Dothan territory with Pat Rose. Tom Moody's.
He pulled it off well, but he didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely went almost every Wednesday night. I'm guessing Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah, I think he commented earlier about being Columbus.
Pete Taylor said, down in Columbus, Georgia, it wasn't wrestling without Wrestling 2.
That is a fact.
This is true. Dennis Mitchell said, did Mr. Wrestling 2 ever wrestle Dick Murdoch?
I'm not sure on that one. I'm not sure on that one.
We haven't run into it yet, I don't think. And we're going to, next time we'll look at 1975. So I don't believe Dick Murdoch, I don't believe they did, unless he did in Louisiana. And he could have, I guess. We'll figure that out. We'll find that out somewhere.
I can't remember.
I think Robert has, I think Victor said, Robert, did you ever train to become a wrestler?
I did at one point, but I ended up deciding not to go that route. I wrestled all through school and stuff, so I enjoyed the amateur and collegiate side, but didn't go into pro wrestling.
Tom Moody's asking about Bob Orton Jr. Dick Slater did the same thing, started wearing a Wrestling 2's mask. It said, I'm a turkey, I believe, on the back of it.
Yeah.
Remember that.
And the baby bottle.
Yeah, baby bottom matches, some great stuff during that time. David wanted to know, I heard he was President Carter's mom's favorite wrestler.
Yep, he was actually in her autobiography. So the pictures
I can verify that. I actually had a conversation with Jimmy Carter when I was in the Army, when he was president. And what did we talk about? Wrestling. He wanted to know if I went to the matches, and I said yes. He said, well, do you ever see my mom there? And I said, yeah, at least once a month she's there, because you can tell because there's Secret Service everywhere. And he said, well, good. I'm glad they're doing their job. And he told me about how much he liked wrestling too also.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool.
Michael Barr was talking about Mr. Olympia. People forget about Jerry Stubbs against Wrestling 2 in Mid-South Wrestling.
Jerry Stubbs is another guy that we were talking about. Pat Rose was another guy that we called that same day and FaceTimed and talked with him for just a quick stint and said hello and had a little quick catching up. But yeah, he was emotional too, and enjoyed talking with Dad.
Kevin asked, did Wrestling 2 ever have another closer, I guess another finisher, besides the knee lift?
He had a, I don't know if they call it like Russian armbar or whatever, where you put the arm between your legs and you go down.
Japanese armbar. That's right.
Japanese armbar, yeah.
That's right.
By the way, he also asked, was he ever world champion? Yeah, for that one day that he.
Yeah, one day. Yeah.
Until TV the next morning.
Yeah.
Well, they were probably afraid to take it away from him that night.
Probably trying to figure out what they were going to say.
That would not have been one of those you'd want to get out of there. You might not have got out of there alive if you did that. Let's see. Jeff Hines said, Robert, do you remember the new special about your mom making the robes for the wrestlers? It's on YouTube somewhere.
I do, yeah. I do, definitely. That was I was there when they were filming it. So a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about my mom, and that she actually did make all the robes for the wrestlers back in the day, but she also, prior to that, sewed for all the country western singers, Dolly Parton and all the other guys' names, Porter Wagner and some others. And then after wrestling, she out here in Hawaii sewed for Charo. I don't know if you guys remember her or not, but she had a really big show here in the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and so she would help her sister Carmen do all her wardrobe stuff.
We need to do a whole show on your mother.
That would be cool.
A whole show on your mother. If you've got some photographs and stuff that she did, that would be tremendous.
She even would design, because she's Irish, all the gowns for the St. Patrick's Day parade in Atlanta for the Irish float. That would be sponsored by the Hibernian Association. And so all the Irish leprechauns, I was even a leprechaun one year. And whatever. So she would sew and make all of that stuff, man. It was amazing.
Our bird said, hello from Jasper, Georgia. I met two so many times when I was a kid. There was never a single time that he wasn't nice to me.
Very cool.
Tim Tweed said, I once saw a Mid-South episode when someone was threatening Mr. Wrestling 2 with a doll in his locker. I don't remember that one.
Like with voodoo kind of stuff? Or what do you mean?
Hey, we'll have to look at that, Tim. I don't remember that, but let's go. Christopher Hughes said, hey, hello, Robert. How many times did your dad win the Georgia heavyweight title in total? Thanks for all the stuff.
12 times.
Let's see. And Richard Hood does talk about Eddie Graham was the first promoter to he wrestled as the grappler at the time.
Yeah.
In championship wrestling from Florida. All right, we're going to have to. If we missed anybody, I'm so sorry, but we are going to have to go because we have a supporter video we've got to do, and we like to finish it up by 11 tonight anyway. But thank you so much. And what we'll do is I will go through all the questions, and next time Robert's on it, if we missed anything, we'll go back and make sure we get those questions on. Robert, anything that you would like to tell the wrestling fans before we leave?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I have Dad's Facebook page. It's under John Walker. I haven't converted it yet, but I'm going to convert it to like a, for lack of a better word, a celebrity page, just so that it's more accessible to everybody. Because right now I'm having to go in and actually check friend.
Right.
And not everybody's getting access as quickly as maybe they'd like, but definitely go there. All the stuff that you see here, like the photos and pictures and stuff, I posted there as well. So you guys can actually take the time and read the articles, because the storylines that they write back in some of those magazines are amazing and really give some good content to the photo you're looking at. So that's one. Two, I am going to do what Jack was asking. I am going to get some articles like shirts or different things with Dad's mask logo on it. And I'm going to start trying to offer that on his site and that kind of stuff. And then lastly, just to say thank you again to all the supporter that has been inundated on the internet. I mean, from the time that he passed till now, it's still just unbelievable. So we appreciate it so much. Keep keeping his memory alive, and all the people he's touched over the years. It's truly a blessing.
Jack, any final comments before we leave?
Yeah, it's always great to talk to you, Robert. Always good to hear stories about too. He meant a lot to me. I've said it many times. Two and Superstar in a Cage is what convinced me to be what I am.
Nice.
Rodney?
Two. That's all I got to say.
That's right. We are going to be doing another one of these probably in about a month or so. We're going to come back. We're going to look at 1975, and we will look at a lot of stuff that he has going. And we're coming very, very fastly.
This is January 1975. Just a kind of a quick.
That's right, Toro Tanaka.
He says, "I'll kill Tanaka."
So that is a little bit of tease of what we're talking about 1975. Now all of us are getting older at this point, so it's getting closer that we remember a lot of things that went on. And as we get closer, 76, 78. Oh man, we're going to be telling you some stories then that you're going to enjoy. Thank you so much. We thank you so much for sharing our page, and share with everyone you know, little know about pro wrestling inside and out. We'll put a link of the Facebook page that Robert was talking about, so you can go over there and join that one as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert, so much. Thank you, and we'll see you on tomorrow night. I think we have a special guest tomorrow.
I talked to her today.
So. All right, are we set?
We should be.
All right, we won't tell you who it's going to be just in case she doesn't show up. But hopefully tomorrow night we have a guest and another special guest. Thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow night right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out.
Aloha.